Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every other Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and now on with the show. When we last met, after a month of downtime, the characters were summoned to the city of Korth, all the way into the Tower of the 12, the magical college for the dragon-marked houses. After a hasty reunion, the party were drawn into before the committee of the 12, and were then hired for an important task, to travel to the Shadow Marches under the guise of a cargo delivery company, and investigate the disappearance of dragon-marked spellcasters. It was then revealed to the gang that they would be utilizing an airship belonging to their wizard companion Eli for this mission. A unique vessel that once belonged to Thalwyn Stormbringer, his father. The New Horizon would serve as a mobile home for the group, as well as a source of income. The party then took an extensive tour of the New Horizon, meeting the crew of the vessel and becoming familiar with the many levels. The vessel then disembarked from the Tower of the 12, heading west towards the capital of Onder, known as Fairhaven, for their first cargo delivery. As the sun set on their first day of travel to the marches, the characters settled into their new personal conveyance and mobile base. A strange thunderstorm manifested in the west as the sun went down, hammering the New Horizon with wind and rain. As the crew of the airship began scrambling in reaction to this freak storm, warnings of some kind of spill below deck blared from the ship's communication nodes. Scattered in the many levels of the vessel, Ender found himself coming face to face with some sort of strange creature made of green mist. The half-orc samurai drew his Biesh katana as the mist roared a challenge. And I need everyone to roll initiative. And I will roll for Eli.
Full house.
Full house.
3 14s and 2 20s. You can just go ahead and concede right now, Jeremy.
Oh, I see. Is that what you want me to do?
I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Please don't turn me into anything unnatural.
So, I have a better idea for you. I'm going to attack you with a fart.
Don't! I'll take that unnatural thing.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see. First in the initiative order. Ooh, this does not look good.
For the gas monster.
Will actually be Lothana's turn here in a moment, but not quite. So all of the elemental lanterns, all these lanterns that are scattered about the decks, from the chambers within that each of you are within upon the level of the ship that you're on, begin to flicker, and you hear this sizzling noise coming from somewhere below you, somewhere far below you. This horrible sizzling noise that seems to blare out over the communication nodes that are scattered amongst the different chambers within this level of the ship that you're on. And you hear this painful yell from somewhere on the ship.
Can you share the map of the ship and where we are?
Yes, I will share the level that you are currently on.
Are we all on the same level?
I believe everyone is on the main deck, if I'm not mistaken, except for Eli.
To make things simpler, if you want, you can just beeline it to our deck.
Who do you want to beeline it to the deck?
Eli.
Oh, Eli? We'll see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Metagaming on accident. So I do have one complaint about this old Fantasy Grounds. I really miss the LOS features and being able to open and shut the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a real step back.
All right, and Lithana, it is your turn. So you have just heard the sound of this sizzling noise, and you can see now sparks of electricity which are crackling from the nodes that are spaced about a foot apart from the elemental lanterns which are hanging within this level, within the lounge. And some of it seems to be arcing out in different directions, random patterns coming out of these nodes that are separated. One to the side of the door that you're currently standing in front of, and you can see more electricity which seems to be coalescing and arcing out of this node, the speaker-like node that's not too far away from where Gunthral is.
Okay, so I pulled out my bow.
Okay.
And I'm standing right at the door, is that right?
Correct. You have a door in front of you. The first of 3 sets of doors heading towards where Indir currently is.
And I see around me electricity, but nothing.
You just see these random arcs of electricity which are popping and fizzing out from these sort of speaker-like nodes that are on the walls next to the elemental lanterns. And it's just like it's becoming increasingly intense. It's really strange. It's like it almost looks like a magical effect, as if someone were trying to cast a weak form of a lightning spell, but it's coming out of the speaker.
Right. I will target the speaker, but I will hold my action until I see something.
Okay. And is that all you do? You want to hold your action with your bow, knocking an arrow?
Yes.
Okay. And Zito, it's your turn.
Zito is going to close the book that he's been reading. He's going to look at Ari and says, Ari, did you hear something?
Okay. That's part of your free action with the environment for this round, you interacting with Auri. She'll be able to answer you on her turn.
And I'll hold my action until I get confirmation from Ari.
Sure. And that's the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you turn to speak to Auri, the doorknob on the door to this chamber that you're in with Leah and Auri suddenly turns, and you smell ozone. As suddenly, some sort of floating hand opens the door and whizzes into the chamber, going straight for Auri. And it looks like this. Would you like to take your action?
Would not.
Will not? Okay. So, Auri, this hand made of fire suddenly emerges from the door and rushes into the room, coming straight for you. And it looks like it's going to attack you, or at least attempt to. But it misses you as this hand suddenly reaches out. It looks like it was getting ready to grab a hold of your arm and like rake down the side of your arm and attempt to burn you. Back in the chamber with Lithana and Gunthroll. Lithana, that intense lightning, that fizzling and sizzling noise suddenly intensifies further, and a bolt of lightning suddenly arcs out from the speaker nearest to you and strikes the ground, gaining mass and emerging and coalescing in front of you a few feet away. And it looks like this. It takes the form of a serpent, and it looks like it's coming straight for you. Would you like to take your action?
Yes, I will aim right at it and loose 3 arrows in a row in quick succession.
Okay. That is a hit. As you strike it with your arrow, seeming to catch the creature, even though it appears to be made of some sort of almost like a gelatinous substance, which is formed from the lightning itself, coalescing into a semi-solid object that seems to resemble a snake made of lightning. And it coils up and rears back as you pepper it with your arrows.
Man, that could be a pet.
Unfortunately, your next arrow it misses as it seems to pass through a negative space that seems to separate and open as your arrow passes through its body and impacts the shuttered window behind it, clattering to the ground.
Alright. I will... Let's see. Ahaha! Cast Hunter's Mark. Ugh.
Okay.
Gosh. Dang it. And I believe I can either fire at disadvantage or something and get +10 if I hit or something.
You can take a -5 and get +10 to your damage.
Yes, that's what I will do.
Okay. But didn't you use your bonus action, though, to cast Hunter's Mark? I don't believe you can use your bonus action to fire again.
I think I...
Because you have how many attacks? 2 attacks? Or is that 3 attacks?
I think 3's at 11.
On my first turn, I get 2 attacks.
2 attacks.
3 attacks.
3 attacks, okay.
Nope, 2 attacks. Alright, that's the end of her turn. Can she move or no?
Can she move? You absolutely can move if you like.
Alright, I'm gonna whoop 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 over here.
Okay.
She's been so taken in by this airship that this thing kind of caught her by surprise.
Okay.
Verdun. And that's the end of my turn.
Okay. So the Lithana, after firing your arrows and sort of doing a little slide cartwheel, rushing back towards the other side of the lounge area, Gunthroll, you watch as this thing sort of turns its head towards Lithana first and then towards you. And I need you to make a dexterity save.
But it's a pet snake. It shouldn't attack me. I love snakes. Dexterity save, you said?
Yes, please. Okay.
Shit.
Look at that. So you'll take half damage.
Note that will probably be my only dexterity save in the whole game.
Okay. So you take 9 lightning damage as this thing just sort of fires an arc of lightning straight towards you, impacting you. And I will manually drop that on you. There we go. The room suddenly, the smell of ozone and now scorched flesh as this creature fires its lightning at you. And it then moves a little closer to you, coiling up and surveying the room, seeming to be looking past you towards the way that Lithana just went. And Ender, you watch as this gas cloud, which roared at you, seems to be sizing you up like a living thing. And let's see, one of its it seems to form an appendage. It almost looks like a pseudopod, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You take...
Did I succeed?
You did not. You take 15 poison damage as its appendage rushes towards you and seems to shove itself down your throat and your nostrils, filling your lungs with this poisonous gas. It then pulls back its appendage, and you just watch as it seems to be a mix between an amorphous blob that gives off this constant gas. It's like a mix between a gas and almost like a gelatinous membrane.
If that was a 16, would it have passed? Because it should have. My +1 isn't being added from my ring of protection.
Your +1 isn't being added from your ring of protection? I believe that was already...
None of my saves are affected.
+1 is on AC, not on saves. Ring of protection doesn't affect your saves.
I thought it did.
No.
My mistake.
Let's read the ring of protection and see what it does. AC and saving throws while wearing this ring. Oh, so you are right.
Oh, okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me recheck here.
I was just checking just now, just because I noticed that one of my saving throws were at a 0, where everything should be at least a +1.
Right. We may have to manually add that to your character, so
Okay.
No worries.
I have plenty of those. I can also add that put that line on my special defenses.
No worries. Yeah, you can write that on your character sheet. So in that case, you would take half damage from that. So we'll reduce that down to 7. You take 7 damage from it.
Cool. I didn't mean to be a pain in the butt there.
No worries. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Do you mind if I change everything manually? Just so everything's in the system, like on my character sheet.
Oh, we'll work that out later.
Okay.
But for now, we'll just remember that you're +1 on saves.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's see. Lots of stuff going on below deck. And Lithana, you watch as the Harlequin, almost clown-like individual, and a very, very faster than your eye can track, draws its short swords. You just hear as the swords unsheath, and she holds them at ready, holding her action and standing in front of Volo.
Lithana is definitely paying attention. She finally gets to figure out who this gal is.
And you are all hearing the sounds of horrible screams now coming from below deck. And Auri, it's your turn. There is a flaming hand that's attempting to scorch you.
Well, I heard Zito ask me that question, but I'm gonna look at him and just turn into a polar bear and go in for the multi-attack on this thing.
Okay, let me give you your token. There you go. That first, the bite attack unfortunately is a miss, as you attempt to bite the fiery hand that's coming at you. However, when you swipe with your paws, you manage to connect this creature. It seems to be made of a plasma-like flame. And you do a decent amount of damage to it as you slash into it with your claws. It seems to resist it somewhat.
Alright, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. And I believe it's Ender's turn, if I'm not mistaken.
Ender's going to pull out his sword and kill the living Cloud Kill 2.
Okay.
Or try to.
That is most definitely a hit. As you have to get close to it, though. I don't know why you're attacking before getting next to it.
I'm sorry.
That's not a ranged weapon, sir.
Yeah,
There you
that's what I
go. No worries. As you slash into the creature with your sword, slicing into it, it seems to damage it, but you can see that this thing is sturdy. And it sort of rises up above you as you're rearing back to attack it again.
Alright, now this time I'm going to use my Fighting Spirit and gain 5 temp health.
Okay.
And get advantage on the attack.
Alright. I went ahead and added your temporary health for you. That is also a hit, as you slash into it with your Biesh sword. Cutting into the creature, it still looks like it's getting ready to pounce on you.
That's the end of my turn.
Yes, sir. And Gunthroll, it is your turn. The lightning snake is rearing up. It's looking to you. It's scanning the chamber beyond the little pool, looking towards Lithana and the other individuals on this level of the ship in this chamber.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little tolling of the dead.
Okay. And it fails. And you can see that there's a discordant booming noise of this bell, this ethereal bell. You can see its head sort of vibrating and coming apart and then reforming again.
And I will stay there and... Actually, I'm gonna move.
Okay.
Attempt to block it from getting to Alita and the other 2 civilians.
All right. And more screams coming from the deck below you all. As you hear, just over the sound of the speakers, these nodes, you can hear fizzling, cracking, and the sounds of screams and battle coming from somewhere within the deck. And what would Eli do on his turn? Lathana? He's currently up on the bridge. He has observed that his first mate has just seemingly broken a bone and is holding his wrist.
I would look ahead of me. Is there anything we are encountering ahead of us steering wise? I will make sure I steer us out of danger.
Well, here's the thing. Eli ordered the shutters to be closed, which means he has no view of the outside of the ship at the moment. So he has no idea what's going on outside of the ship. All he would remember is that he ordered the shutters closed once this freak thunderstorm just appeared in front of the ship off in the distance, before the wind and the rain started causing the airship to rock back and forth. He's also getting reports from all over the deck now that a crew member has died and something has escaped some sort of containment unit and is wreaking havoc on a couple of the decks. You can choose to. There's still some stuff going on the ship right now. If you want to hold off your turn for now with him, we'll see what the others are doing.
Sure, he'll read the readings and say, "Please report what's going on that deck," before he takes any.
Okay, he hears horrible screams of anguish coming from the speakers, and he hears someone calling out for help. And Leah Bix, seeing this strange fiery hand, she raises up a hand and she casts Sacred Flame on the creature. This creature made of flame. She doesn't know what it is. And unfortunately it succeeded. And that's her turn. And from beyond the cloud, Ender, you watch as the double doors burst open, and a flaming hand is now rushing towards you. Flying down the hallway. And you see another one suddenly emerge, bursting through the doors, doing the same thing, rushing down the hallway as far as it can move. The hallway beyond is just wreathed in these flames, illuminating the corridor as they're rushing towards you. Meanwhile, there are more screams going on below the deck.
Well, looks like my brief stint of being Derek has ended because he just walked in the door.
Hey!
I'm gonna miss your Derek voice, though.
That Derek voice was
know,
so
right?
authoritative. Come on now.
I'm being Eli right now. He's starting up his computer.
I love it.
Anya and I were cracking up
Wouldn't
that whole
change a
time.
thing. It's perfect.
We should let him know that you had him hide underneath the bed.
He
Also,
ran
he
back.
gifted.
I had him go back to his bed with those two little droids, be like, "Mommy, help me!" I'm saying
Also,
all
Eli
this like
gifted
right
me
in
the
front of
room.
him.
He lost his captain quarters. Gifted it to me. Traded. Fair trade.
The sounds of combat going below. Ooh, nice. The sailor just scored a natural 20. Volathomp's turn. He cries out, he says, What in the blazes is that thing? And he unsheaths a dagger, which he holds. It seems to be the only weapon that he holds, and holds it out in front of him and holds his action.
I like that follow guy. He looks pretty awesome. I mean, zoom in on that guy's face. Look at that mustache. For some reason, I'd put my life on the line for him.
Oh, really?
I would. No, he just looks cheery. Also, that hat. I want that hat. Don't you dare take him away from us, Jeremy.
I would never think of doing such a thing. Or maybe I would. And we can wait and see what Derek would do if he would like to direct what he would do on his turn. Have you given him a breakdown of what's been going on in the past round?
I'm totally fine with waiting. Then I can use the restroom real quick.
Sure, we can wait.
Cool. I'll be right back.
So, what's going on? Sorry, I came in late. Or
No worries. Apparently there was some sort of a spillage. Some sort of a series of containment units were broken open after a crate fell on one of the storage levels of the deck. You're not sure how many of the crates were broken. You just know that some sort of strange living spell creatures have begun wreaking havoc on the ship, and at least one of your Warforged crew has perished.
oh, what?
Yes. So currently your crew are battling these creatures on the decks of the ship. Your companions are also fighting against these strange living spells.
All right.
The greatest concentration seeming to be on the main deck, where all of your companions are currently.
All right, sounds good.
And currently your first mate is holding his wrist, and your two Warforged crew, which are on the deck with you, are currently attempting to communicate with members of the crew on the many levels of the deck. They're the ones that one of them just shouted to you and said that one of the Warforged crew, one named Deet, has just perished. And what would you like to do on your turn, Derek?
I would like to order my men back. Get out of there.
You'll
I will
have
head
to.
that way.
You'll have to be a bit more specific. There are many levels of the ship, and your crew is scattered.
I'll tell my crew to go to a safe spot and wait for further orders.
Okay. Well, we'll say that if you wish to have that be your orders, we'll say that that's your free interaction with the environment, yelling that into a communications device. You now have movement and an action.
I will move down to the elevator to go down.
Okay. Guess I need to lock your token. There we go. Let me just figure out how much movement you had left. Yeah, it took your full regular action to get into the elevator from where you were. And it'll take the rest of your you can use your action to activate the elevator to get down to the next level.
Yeah, that's what I will use.
Okay. So in that case, we will move Eli right here. So that'll be the end of your turn. Okay. Carter's turn. Somewhere on the ship, all of you are hearing the echoing sounds of combat from somewhere on the ship. As someone is attacking one of the creatures, and you just hear a triumphant, "Ha-ha! Take that, foul devil!" from somewhere, just echoing all over the various nodes around the ship. And Ender, you watch as a diminutive gnome cook begins to open up the door, sees the giant fart cloud, and goes, "Nope!" and closes the door and goes back into the kitchen. On Bertram's turn, Bertram will rush forth, landing on the elevator, and the rest of his movement he will... Let's see... Yes. The rest of his movement, he descends the elevator down into the lounge level, pulling his weapon. The first mate now is shouting orders over the Voxcasters all over the ship, saying, "Crew, get to safety. Let security handle it." Humphrey, somewhere on the ship, Lothana, your giant horsefly is stuck inside of a crate, all by his lonesome.
No.
And Eli, it's your turn again.
I'm going to move to the next elevator dash.
Okay. Yeah, you can't get to it that way.
Oh.
You gotta go into the war room to get to it. Okay. You can't quite get there on this turn.
I'll have to dash. I'll use my movement and my dash, which is
Correct.
60 feet.
So
Yeah, so I can't activate the elevator.
Yeah, not yet. You're thinking to yourself, man, I should have installed that elevator. I should have had it go down one more level.
I know.
Leah, on her turn, she's going to attempt to cast Guiding Bolt on this creature. And she misses, because she's not very good at Guiding Bolt.
Sad bear noises.
Sad face. On the Living Cloudkill's turn, it will cast, let's see... It casts a poisonous cloud on Gertrude. She takes some damage.
Where's Gertrude?
Gertrude is on one of the levels of the deck of the ship, somewhere on the ship. I'm just going to start telling you what's happening to the people on the ship. And now the cloud kill creature that's in front of you, Ender, is going to attempt to hit you. First, let's see if it gets its ability back. It does not. So instead, it will magically attack you with its magical strikes. And its first attack hits you. And you take 16 damage as the damage is partially absorbed. And then attempts to attack you again, just walloping you, this time missing you and impacting the side of the wall and knocking one of the bedroom doors loose. That's the end of its turn. On the Harlequin's turn, the Harlequin now catches a quick glance back at Volo and nods its head and then turns and looks at you, Lothana, and just sort of stares at you for a moment before rushing forth next to Gunthral. Its two blades drawn. And we'll close the distance. And slice into the creature. In quick succession, almost appearing as though it's dancing. It's spinning now, striking this lightning snake over and over again. It does so 3 times. Actually, yeah, it still hits. And dealing damage to it, which doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot of damage, but it is impacted it 3 times in quick succession. And somewhere below the deck, you're hearing now more screams as people are being attacked by these strange creatures. Or the sounds of people just yelling out over the Vox speakers. That's a critical hit. And let's see. Suddenly, from over the Cloudkill creature ender, a hand outstretched floats up and over you and the creature and lands behind you. And then reaches out to try and burn you. Make a dexterity save, please.
Remember, this is a plus 1.
Yes, +1. Okay.
16.
16. Alright. So you will take half damage. You take 8 fire damage as this thing burns you. I believe that takes, if you haven't already manually done that's 8 more damage on you. I think that takes you to 31 damage taken so far.
Would you like me to change it? Okay,
I got it. I couldn't remember if it had taken off your temporary hit points or not. And Lethana, it's your turn. You're watching as the Harlequin person rushes forth, sliding past Gunthral and slashing 3 times into this lightning snake.
Alright. Give me 1 second.
Okay, would you like to hold your action?
Nope, she is going to move
Okay.
all the way over here. And she can still see over the pool. Does she have a line of sight?
Correct. The pool is raised up a bit, but you can still see without anything blocking you from where you're at. And you ignore cover anyway.
Right. So I will unleash my 2 more arrows. My second arrow, I would like to focus less on accuracy and more on adding more weight and force to it.
Okay. Might want to apply your hunter's mark.
Oh, yes.
And that's definitely a hit. As your bolt catches the creature in its amorphous, globule, electrified, gelatinous body.
Alright. I make my second attack.
I believe it's second attack, -5 plus 10 damage, correct?
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's a natural one, unfortunately. Your arrow actually impacts the wall and passes centimeters, nearly impacting the head of the Harlequin. And you can just watch as it turns and looks past Gunthral towards you. And just stares at you, holding its short swords out in an X pattern in front of it, and it continues to stare at you.
She's like, oh shoot. And then she kind of just squats in the corner. And,
Okay.
That's the end of her turn.
Alright. On Volotham's turn, Volotham says, "Stand back, my lady, I'll handle this." And he is going to just sort of sidle up a bit with his dagger in one hand, and he will attempt to cast Friends on the creature.
I missed on purpose, right? So you could be friends.
And you just hear Volo's voice booming and says, "You don't want to hurt me or my companions, do you, Snaky? That's a good boy. Or girl. I don't judge." Meanwhile, somewhere on one of the decks, somebody is getting walloped. Oh shit, that's a critical hit. No, everything's going fine, Eli. Everything's going absolutely fine on the ship. No need to concern yourself. Okay. The fiery hand now, Auri, you watch as it raises its hand up, almost like a tarantula made of fire, and then each of the fingertips arc out and shoot a blast of fire at you. I need you to make a dexterity save, please. Okay, you take 9 fire damage as your suddenly the top of your head is on fire for a few moments as you sort of pat it out with your bear paws, like real quick. And Ender, it's your turn.
Ender is going to attack the Living Cloud Kill 2 again.
Okay.
And this time I'm going to use my I'm going to use my second wind.
Okay.
So I'm going to gain D10 plus 8.
Hit points back, I believe.
Yep.
You can go ahead and roll that D10. So that's 18 hit points to get back.
Alright, now I'm going to be wailing away on Living Cloud Kill.
Okay. That is a hit as you slash true with your Viesh katana, cutting into the amorphous blob. You can watch as its body continues to reform even as your sword is passing through it.
I'm going to do that again.
Okay. That unfortunately is a natural 1. As you try to cut into it again, overhand chop, your blade momentarily sticks into the wooden floor, cutting a divot into Eli's nice, beautiful lacquered floor. That honey brown colored floor.
I'd like to take an action surge and quickly repair it before Eli finds out.
Eli's like,
now
what?
I'm going to attack this guy again.
That is a hit as you slash into the creature. It still seems pretty hardy at the moment.
And I'd like to gain advantage on my next attack.
Okay.
And gain 5 temporary hit points with another one of my uses of Fighting Spirit.
Okay. Wait, how many attacks have you made so far?
I action surged. I've made 3. I'm on my 4th right now.
Gotcha. was going to say, you don't have an extra bonus action. Action Surge only gives you an extra action.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Alright, then I won't take that advantage, sorry.
No worries.
And that's my last attack.
And you still hit it, though. It looks pretty worse for wear now. It seems to be coming apart. The mist is having trouble forming itself back into the shape that it took when it began to attack you. And Zito, I believe it's your turn. You've been watching this fiery hand attacking your companion who turned into her bear form. Which I just realized she's not quite big enough. There we go. There we go. Now she's big enough.
Alright, Zito's gonna look at Ari and then over to Leah. And he's gonna think that these two can handle one flaming hand. He's gonna try and sneak out of there.
Okay. It seems to be completely focusing on Auri, so you won't take an opportunity to attack as you pass by it.
Alright, and I assume I can see those 3 flaming in that
The doors, both sets of doors are blasted wide open, and you can see this amorphous green cloud. And you can just make out your samurai companion who has his weapon drawn and is attacking it. You can see the more of those fiery hands.
Alright, so I don't know if this is going to be a bit of overkill, but I'm going to do magic missile at 4th level.
Okay.
I'm going to do 3 on the cloud kill, and then the rest on the other burning hands.
Okay, go for it. And how do you summon your magic missile?
I'm going to pull out my wand that I recently acquired, and with... yes, I'm going to break dance.
Break out into dance. Is that a flash dance, or is that a foot loose?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Okay, as these arcane missiles launch across the deck, arcing and spiraling, impacting the creature, nearly destroying it, but not completely. And then blasting into the fiery hands with the remainder of your attacks. You can see that the missiles are impacting the living spells and doing a considerable amount of damage to them.
And my turn.
You in your turn? Okay. Meanwhile, below deck, the crew are continuing to attempt to attack these creatures. On the, let's see, yep. Living Lightning Bolt, 1's turn. We'll see if it gets its ability back. It does not. So instead, it will attempt to make a magical strike first on the Harlequin, and then 1 on Gunthral. And it hits the Harlequin. And then attempts to strike Gunny. Gunny, you are hit. And you take 19 lightning damage as this thing, its arm, it suddenly creates a pseudopod that is impossibly long, stretches out, and hits you, seemingly to have some sort of a reach on its attacks. It then shifts itself slightly, not breaking with either you or the Harlequin. And it is your turn, Guthral.
Alrighty.
Okay, that is a success.
Oh, he takes no damage.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. And Auri, your burnt fur has gone out as you've been patting it. The top of your head is now bald, in your bear form, and it hurts. The air, just the feeling, the stinging.
You made an enemy tonight, Jeremy.
I made an enemy?
No. It was just making sense. I saw Zito try to slip out, so I'm trying to keep him preoccupied, so I'm gonna bite at its pinky.
Okay. That is a... well, you didn't target it, but you still hit.
Oh, it's because I'm big. I rolled it on top of it, and it rolled on the...
There you go. I targeted it for you. There you go. Okay. It partially resists it, only taking 6 damage from your bite as you bite into it. The heat burning your gums, threatening to set your tongue on fire.
I'm gonna go at it with my claws now.
All right. And that is also a hit as you rake downward with both claws, cutting into its body, and you rip it apart. Its amorphous, burning blob hits the planks, creating burn pockmarks on the wood, ruining it in some places, small bits here and there. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Okay. On the Living Burning Hand's turn, flies over, landing behind you, Ender. And I need you to make a dexterity save.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with +1,
That's a
that'll
7.
make it a 7. As its fingertips suddenly splay out and fire 5 fire beams at you. Fire coalescing and wrapping around you, burning you for 6 fire damage.
You said it's wrapped around me. Does that mean I'm?
That's more colorful wordplay.
Got you. Just
Like
making
it,
sure I'm
as
not
the attack,
restrained.
as the attack hits you, it just sort of wrapped around your armor, finding the chinks in your armor, so to speak, to burn you. And Lathana, it's your turn. You see your companion still fighting this lightning snake, and beyond that, you can see now Bertram has descended to this level and is readying his weapon. Looks like he's getting ready to rush up towards this creature.
Alright, I'm a little pissed that I missed the other one that badly and, almost hit another fellow maiden of death, I guess. And so I will attempt to hit it again.
Okay.
I notch an arrow and
That is definitely a hit. You catch the creature. If it had an eyeball, you caught it in its left eyeball.
and I will notch one more time, just focusing on accuracy this time because she
Okay.
really doesn't want to shoot.
Unfortunately, that is a miss. As you try to, in quick succession, impact the same target on the creature's, what you would assume is its head, but your next arrow just sort of bounces off the top of its lightning skull and goes flipping end over end, scattering against the wall and the floor.
She's just like, so much for accuracy. And she answered that.
Okay. Below the deck, Gertrude is attempting to take care of business. And M is going to spin around and attempt to decapitate this creature with its short sword, hitting it, and then in quick succession hitting it 2 more times, or at least trying to, surprisingly hitting it each time. And you watch Lathana Gunthroll as this Harlequin suddenly does a cartwheeled flip, overhand chop, and decapitates the creature, and its amorphous blob splatters across the deck as lightning arcs sort of spit out from its body as it falls apart. And almost as quickly sheathes her weapons and then begins rushing towards Volo. Carter's turn. He will hold his action, and Ender, it's your turn.
All right, I'm gonna try to finish off the living cloud kill too.
Okay.
I will be gaining advantage on my first attack with my bonus act
Okay.
and gaining 5 temporary hit.
And you take your katana, thrusting forth and then up, splitting the creature as it just sort of splits and wafts away and dissipates.
All right, now with the crescent slash, I'm going to turn my attack over to Burning Hands 2 and finish it off with my last attack, or hit it with.
Okay. And that is most definitely a hit as you turn around and carve into the creature.
End of my turn.
Okay. On Vernon's turn, he is continuing to slash into the creature that he is currently facing.
He's gonna be an MVP.
And he's doing some serious damage, but he's also not looking too good, guys. Humphrey is now bashing. You all hear the sound of impacts as Humphrey is bashing against the doors to the pen that he's in. And he comes bursting forth. Errol calls out. You can hear Eli Errol calling out, saying, "Captain! What do you wish us to do now?" And he will wait for you to respond on your turn, Eli. Auri, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to drop my form because I want to fit out the door.
Okay.
And I'm just going to head out the doorway towards Ender.
All right. You're no longer a bear. As you merge into the hall, at the end of the hall, you can see that Ender is currently being attacked by flaming hands.
Okay. And then once she moves, that'll be my turn. She's
Okay.
being...
Running forth towards Ender.
Yep,
And that's your turn? All right. Gunthrow, it's your turn.
Are these doors to the left open or are they all closed?
They are currently open. Ender opened the doors. He did not close them when he passed through, unless he said otherwise.
No, I left them all open.
So I can see those burning hands guy.
Yes, you do. You can see, you've been hearing the sound of these creatures attacking Ender. Okay, that is a failure for the creature. And you watch as the creature just sort of curls up like into a fist and then pff, out of existence.
And here. And then my turn.
Okay. And somewhere on the ship, more attacks going on. And Eli, it's your turn. Would you like to descend to the deck below you?
Yes, I would.
All right, you are now on the main deck, which I will share a map with you. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong deck. I put you on the wrong one, I apologize. You are...
I'm up one, right?
There you are. You're on the main deck.
I'm gonna come out to see what's going on.
Okay, as you peer around the corner, you see Zito to your left, and turning and looking down the corridor, you see burn marks in the deck and areas. The doors are burnt in areas, superficial burns from apparently something. And you can see that Auri is rushing towards Ender, who is currently being menaced by a hand made of fire.
What the? What's going on? My ship! It looks terrible!
You also see a very deep divot in the ground close to where Ender is standing.
Ah! What happened to my precious wood? I will see that burning hand thing. Ah! What is that thing? And I will cast.
Ender hides his guilty face.
Magic missile.
Okay. Your spell, casting it out, arcing your hand like you're tossing a softball. You just watch as your arcane bolt spirals out, hitting the creature and poof, poofing it out of existence in front of you.
Is that all of them? What's going on?
You're hearing still from somewhere on the ship. You can hear yells and cries and sound of someone in pain. And you heard Elro yell out and say, "Captain! On the cargo deck, Captain! The cargo deck!"
I'm coming! The cargo deck, everyone! And I'll use the rest of my movement to head down.
Okay, you're heading downstairs. Alright. That'll take you to the skiff level. There you go.
And that ends my turn.
Okay. Leah is going to meekly peek out from around the corner. And she is going to... She'll just move the rest of her speed as fast as she can. Rushing forth. Seeing injured, she's rushing towards you, Ender, attempting to get to you and heal you. And... oh yeah, she doesn't have healing words, sorry. Bertram, his longsword pulled, pokes at the ground where the creature began to coalesce, and then pulls out a stone from his pocket, and he yells, "Team, where are you all at? What's going on? Report!" Volo is currently collapsed in one of the chairs. Oh, this was supposed to be a vacation. And meanwhile, below, the Cloudkill is currently attacking Gertrude. And hits her twice. Hard. And the remaining lightning bolt creature turns its attention away from Vernon for a moment to attack the sailor, which is locked in combat with it. And burns it alive. You can all hear the sound of the warbling from the Warforged's death cry. Its death rattle. It then turns its attention towards Vernon, and with its last attack, attacks him. you hear another death cry. This time from a non-construct. You just hear as someone has apparently died. And then it will use its turn to rest of its movement to move as quickly as it can. Looks like it's going for Humphrey.
No!
Poor Humphrey.
You are basically killing Eli's brand new family in front of him. For Eli.
Eli, as you can hear now Grimly yelling out, and he is checking the back of the ship, rushing as fast as he possibly can, and then he chucks a spear at something. You just hear him yell out. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Woohoo, a whole 1 damage. And Eli, it's your turn again.
I'll move out here and see what's going on.
Okay. You can see that one of the doors is open, and you can see that Carter is checking on this one of the crewmen. He turns and looks to you and says, "Sir, I regret to inform you that some of the crew have passed. I'm not sure who.
Where's the cleric? We need her now.
The cleric is somewhere on the ship. I assume is above and was in the library."
Call her down immediately. We need... Hopefully, she's powerful. I'm gonna try to send him... I'll try to send a message.
I would say if you're going to continue to have a conversation with him, that's going to be your full action, sir.
Alright, then I'll just, bring her immediately downstairs, and I'll head this way.
Okay. You look
Oh, dear.
through the doors, you can see that Grimly has just chucked something towards this creature that seems to be made of a green mist.
Can I see it?
Beyond him, yes.
Oh, I don't know the range of... Oh, just in range. 120 feet.
Okay.
I'm looking to cast Magic Missile.
It is, you don't have to roll to attack with Magic Missile, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna cast at 2nd level.
Okay. Your arcane missiles pass through the open doorway, passing over and under Grimly and impacting the creature.
Die! I'll have my turn right there.
Okay. Lithana, it is your turn. From your vantage point, you just watched Volo sort of collapse into one of the chairs. The Harlequin individual is currently standing at attention. Their short swords are sheathed. And you've been hearing the sounds of death rattles coming over the Vox casters, these elemental, or not elemental, but these nodes that are spaced within the lounge.
Does she remember if the elevator that's like right across from her goes down?
All you would know is that there are no elevators to the level below you where you are in the lounge. The only elevators are the elevators that take you up to the command deck.
Okay.
So you would have to get to the front of the ship to either take the stairwell or the elevator down.
Alright, she would note that and start running. So she can go 60 feet, dash.
Okay. Lithana rushes past Gunthroll, seeing Ender has his weapon drawn. He's looking at the fallen and destroyed bits of globules of matter on the deck, staring back towards Ari and Leah, who are rushing towards him.
And she will just say, "Come on, let's help downstairs." To Edward.
Leah will spend the rest of her action and movement to get to you, Ender. And it looks like she's going to attempt to heal you on her next turn. Meanwhile, Gertrude is going to continue to waylay into this living cloud kill. Missing 3 times. Poor Gertrude. Gripjaw pokes the flaming hand. Bertram yells blast, and he will move his full movement as far as he possibly can get. Rushing past you, Lithana, rushing past Ender and Leah. Yelling out, "Gertrude! Caught her! Vernon!" And the lightning bolt rushes forth, targeting Humphrey. And hits him. Twice. And somewhere on one of the decks, a little ebony figure clatters to the floor. Poof goes Humphrey. And now it looks like it's going to spend the rest of its movement moving forth. And Zito, it's your turn. There doesn't appear to be any danger here, but you've been hearing the sounds of battle coming from somewhere on the ship, and you've heard the sounds of individuals letting out horrible sounds of pain.
Alright, knowing that this is a big ship, Zito's gonna cast Expeditious Retreat on himself.
Okay.
And he's gonna run down the stairs.
Alrighty. Okay. That will get you on the skiff level below.
Alright, and Zito's just gonna be running through the open doors.
Okay. You see one of the crewmen being checked over by one of the members of the security team. You see Eli, who looks like he's got his hand out and down as if he has just cast a spell through an open door towards the rear of the ship.
Trying to move my character, which end up moving the map instead.
Oh, I moved you a little bit. There you go. There you go. Peeking around the corner, you see the stout dwarf Grimly, and you see one of those cloud creatures.
Alright, am I able to see the creature from here?
You are. It is quite large, and it looks like it's turning its attention away from what was attacking it, and looking towards Grimly, yourself, and potentially beyond towards Ender.
Alright, Zito is gonna pull out his wand again. He's gonna make a few choice flicks, and he's gonna cast fire bolts at the cloud kill.
Go for it. Okay. Well, you missed. You can't. For some reason, that cast twice.
Alright, I'll end my turn then.
Okay. Ender, it's your turn. You can see that the ship surgeon is rushed up and has just reached you, looking like she's reaching out a hand, presumably to heal you.
I'm going to. I'm not very injured. I'm going to explain to her that I'm fine. And then
Okay.
I'm going to move my 60, do a dash action
Okay.
down where she came from.
She looks a bit concerned and confused, but she allows you to get away from her.
That's the end of my turn.
Okay. Cookie is now coming out into the hallway, just sort of standing next to Leah. Just, what's going on? And Auri, it's your turn. You can watch as Ender has beat past you and seems to be heading potentially towards the elevator or the stairwell.
Okay, I'm gonna say out. Those of you who can't fight, go into the lobby next to those who can, and I'm gonna follow Ender down.
Okay. And you are also able to get to the skiff level of the ship.
About right there. Be done.
There we go. Okay. Somewhere below, someone's getting walloped. Just hearing the sounds of battle below you. Carter suddenly, as if remembering something, sprints. Rushing past Yari, says, "Excuse me, miss." Skidding to a halt. Slashing across into something. You're not entirely sure what. Killing the creature. And then yelling to the crew and the bosun to stay back as it holds out its weapon towards a creature below deck, the last living lightning. Volo and the Mute will hold their actions. Sailor 5 turns and looks to you, Auri, and says, "Are you all right?" The Cloud Kill will take an opportunity attack as it moves away from Gertrude. Which it misses. And let's see. Oh, it gets its spell back. Okay. It then casts a poison cloud at Grimly, dealing 14 damage as Grimly is resistant to its attack, and then it closes the distance. And in response, Grimly will try to punch it in the face. And it misses. And Guthrow, it's your turn. You're watching as everyone seems to be heading with a purpose towards the front of this part of the ship. Potentially towards more enemies.
I know of another way down.
You only know of one way down. Well, two ways actually. The stairwell towards the front of the ship, or the elevator.
That elevator nearest us.
The one furthest away, the one nearest to where Lathan is standing, is out of order. That one only goes up.
Is either the surgeon or Cookie injured?
They don't appear to be. They both look.
I moved there.
They both look good.
I'll ask them as I come up. Are you guys fine? You guys hurt?
Leah looks and turns to you, and she says, "You're injured," and she looks like she's gonna try to heal you, on her turn.
Heal the crew. I'm good.
Oh, very well. And Cookie just sort of looks at you and says, "I'm fine." And he's holding that rolling pin that he was menacing you with earlier in the day.
Yeah, go kill some more rats. Make some dinner.
He just sort of looks at you and just grits his teeth. Eli, it's your turn. You can see that Grimly is not looking too good. He is currently being menaced by that living cloud kill creature.
I'm gonna cast Magic Missile level 4.
Okay.
I gotta kill this thing.
As your arcane bolts spiral out and impact into the mist creature, you just watch as it is being ripped apart and then reforming in front of Grimly, looking like it's getting ready to pounce on him again.
Can't really do anything else on my turn.
Okay. Below the deck, the bosun is now going to grab the other crew member, and with his movement, he's going to pull him away, dragging him away, and just says, "Come on, dummy." The Cloud Kill's turn. It's going to rear back and attempt to pummel Grimly. Its first attack missing. Its second attack is a critical hit. Eli, you watch as Grimly is smashed into the ground, into the plank, nearly creating a hole in this level of the ship. And you just watch as he just yells out, "Oh!" and then begins advancing down the hall, narrowing itself and passing through your space, Zito. Does not leave your threat, but appears to be coming straight towards Eli. Carter now is facing down the last living lightning on the ship. Roll some big numbers, Carter. Earn that money. It's not good, Carter. And let's see. Auri, it's your turn.
Oh boy. Alright, I am going
a giant fart cloud just came out of the door past Zito, coalescing into this form. It has these two appendages that are reaching out, looking like it's getting ready to attack Eli.
Okay, I'm gonna space myself right between it and Eli and turn into a bear again, and I might butt bump him back just a tiny bit.
Okay. He won't butt bump, but you will. Alright, I'll create... Suddenly, Auri morphs into a bear. We'll just kind of shift you. There you go. I'll tell you what, we'll put you there and we'll shift Eli back a little bit. There we go. Eli, suddenly a bald polar bear, just kidding, appears before the cloud kill, menacing it.
Okay, and now I will take my attacks on it.
Go for it.
I don't know how I'm gonna bite this thing or if it's possible, but I'm sure as heck gonna try. And no, I'm
You tried. Unfortunately, that is a miss. As your jaws reach out and attempt to bite it, But your second attack with your claws catches the creature, seeming to find purchase on something. It seems to resist your attack somewhat, though. It doesn't look like it's got much left in it, though. It seems to be coming apart in places. The mist is separating in parts. Like it's almost falling apart.
Alright, I'm just gonna look at it like, hey, don't touch my friends. And then that's my turn.
Okay. Lothana, it is your turn. You watched as Ender rushed away towards the front of the ship, presumably towards the means of getting to other levels of the deck. Gunthrow is stalking forward, talking to Leah, talking to the Cookie, Hassel.
Alright, well, I will very elegantly yeet my way through them
Okay.
and run as fast as I can.
All right. You're rushing down. You can hear the sound of the planks underfoot as you're running down as fast as you possibly can. You can see Ender just ahead of you. Looks like he's getting ready to duck around the corner and go down the stairs. And Bertram will do the same thing. He just says, "Excuse me." And on his turn, he will make his way... And that will be the end of his turn. And Guthrow, it's your turn again. You can watch your companions are scattering towards the stairwells.
Well, I'll go follow Athena.
Okay.
Move there.
And Lathan, you can hear the heavy footfalls of Gunthrow as he's coming up behind you.
And I'm done.
Okay. Leah, remembering what you just told her, is going to rush towards the stairwell. Excuse me, pardon me. And Zito, it's your turn. You've just seen the quartermaster Grimly has fallen dead. And as you turn around, this living cloud kill now is menacing your companions within the skiff storage area.
Alright, seeing this cloud looming above him, Zito is going to try and reach out and grab it and cast Shocking Grasp on it.
Okay. And unfortunately, that is a miss. As you reach out your hands, the energy coalescing and beginning to spread out to, it seems to backfire, almost nearly shocking you.
Alright, well then Zito is going to move out of the way.
Okay. You will not take an opportunity attack from it, as it is currently focusing on Eli and the bear in front of it.
Alright, and I'm going to use my bonus action to dash.
Okay.
And try to go around here. And I'll end my turn there.
I didn't know you could bonus action dash.
It's because I cast Expedition Retreat on myself.
That's right. You have Expeditious Retreat on yourself. Correct. Alright, below the deck, Carter is going up against the last living lightning bolt. The creature is lashing out at him, battering him with its attacks, but misses both times. And Gertrude is going to rush forth and use her full movement. Actually, no. She will drop her sword and yank out her heavy crossbow and will blast this creature with her heavy crossbow. Or at least attempt to. Unfortunately, she misses and says, "Shit!" And Ender, it's your turn.
Alright. I'd like to go down to the cargo hold.
Okay.
how much movement will that take?
Essentially, that'll take your full movement to get the very bottom of the ship.
That's including.
But
dash.
you still have your action.
I'd like to use my action to dash, and then I'd like to see what's going on down here.
Okay.
Or actually, for my free action, I'm going to ask the sailor if everyone's is there any danger?
You see the bosun is helping this this other crewman to get to safety, and the bosun looks to you with a pained look on his face and says, "We have wounded and dead all over the ship. I don't know how many people are dead. One of the security team has been killed." And as you peek around, you can see that Carter is menacing.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to dash all the way down there.
Okay.
As close as I can.
I would say that's as far as you can get.
End of turn.
Okay. Alright. The bosun will continue to drag and duck into one of the rooms with the Warforged sailor. On the Cloudkill's turn, let's see if it gets its ability back. It does not. It is going to attempt to pummel you, Auri. Actually, no. The Cloudkill is going to shift around you and is going to hit you first, Auri. And it will deal 20 poison damage as your bear form is racked with pain. And with its second attack, it turns its attention towards Eli, its original intended target. And would you like to use your shield ability, Eli?
No.
Okay, then you will take a hit. You take 22 poison damage as you are racked with pain. As you try to catch your breath, this thing punches you in the face, and you catch a lung full of poisonous gas as it impacts your face with this horrible, horrid, wretched gas. Leah's turn. Leah is going to rush upstairs, and she emerges from the stairwell, grabbing the crewman and saying, "Get behind me! Get behind me!" And she will use the rest of her movement to just sort of, her action, she'll spin the crew member around like she's dancing and moves him into the stairwell away, pushes back, and then looks back towards the creature. And on the last living lightning bolt's turn, it will not get back its special ability. Instead, it will attempt to pummel Carter with its magical attacks, impacting him. Ender, you watch as Carter's body is racked with pain as this snake creature electrocutes him. But he looks like he's still doing okay. And Lithana, it's your turn.
Alright. Can I make my way there?
I don't know, can you?
Hey!
Hey, that's a wall. Or that's that's one of the Scorching Ray throwers, the turrets.
Oh gosh.
There's a stairwell directly in front of you. So we'll say that you can totally get to the next level of the ship.
She kind of, in her haste, runs past it, and then she's like, "Oh wait," circle.
As you emerge, you looking beyond Bertram, looking beyond one of the crew members, and Leah, you can see Eli, and you would assume your bear friend Auri, who is currently being menaced by this giant cloudkill creature.
I would push my way through.
Okay, that is the rest
Kind
of. That's your movement and your action. Yeah, essentially the stairwells are about. It takes about 10 feet of your movement to get down there.
Okay, well, I move my hunter's mark to it.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right then. Zito, it's your turn.
Alright, Zito is going to creep up and open the door slightly. Just
Okay.
enough so we can see that cloud kill creature.
All right.
And,
As you
and
peek
he's
around
going
the
to
corner,
cast Magic Missile.
go for it. You can see the creature looming large over Eli. The polar bear is currently looks like it's getting ready to take another swipe or a bite at the creature. And with your last arcane bolt, you blast the cloud kill as it dissipates and scatters across, becoming nothing. And as far as you know, there's no more on this level of the ship. There's no more threats. However, you are still hearing the sounds of battle coming from somewhere on the ship.
Zito's going to use the last of his movement there and his bonus action to dash again to go down to the next floor below.
Okay. I'm rushing past the mat arrangement of Leah, the crew member. The rest of your movement will say that you are... Let's see. We'll say you are here. You're able to end your turn, end your movement there.
Okay.
All right, and Ender, it's your turn.
Ender would like to help out Garter.
Okay.
Move
This
next to him.
this lightning snake looks really hurt,
I'm gonna
and you
attack
can
him.
see beyond it. You can see what appears to be dead crew laying on the ground at the rear of the cargo bay.
That's gonna put a fire in my eyes. Killing this guy again.
Rushing forth, slashing with your blade, you overhand chop and cut the snake in half. Its globules of lightning just dissipating and splatting across the ground. And you are all out of combat.
First thing I want to do is heal Eli.
I'd like to also scan this room and see if I can help out any of the people that are dying.
Okay.
Thank you, Ari.
Zito.
The ship sort of lists and rocks back and forth. Here, let me take you guys, unlock your tokens. There you go. Are you still a bear, Ari, or did you shift
no,
back?
No. I shift back and healed him.
Okay. There you go.
Get the cleric! Get the cleric!
Leah, come with us.
Leah rushes past you, Auri, and she skids to a stop next to Grimly. And looks at him, and then looks back to you with a sad look on her face. Eli. I'm afraid he's gone.
You can't raise him?
It is beyond my ability.
Gunny! Gunny!
Well, I'm trying to get downstairs. I can't change floor.
There you go.
Yeah, what do you need?
Eli calls out to you. You can see Leah is knelt down beside the crushed form of the quartermaster Grimly, this dwarf. His skin has already begun to take on this pallor, cheeks sunken in. Seems to have just been walloped by some sort of creature, the breath sucked out of its lungs. You can see black veins in places where it was touched by this horrible cloud kill creature.
Well, Ender, my professional opinion, he's dead.
But, Gunny, can't you... You're powerful. You're a powerful cleric, right?
Of course I am.
You're all hearing the sounds of feet pounding on the planks as Gertrude is rushing around the ship. You can hear her speaking off in the background. Lithana, you can hear Gertrude as she yells out to Bertram. Bertram, where were you? And they start to bicker.
Well, Ender, I'll do what I can. Say a quick little prayer and let him pass.
Wait, Gunny, why don't you show us your power and raise him?
Humbling, stick him in the freezer and hold him.
Humana, stick him in a freezer?
I'm gonna take him down to the refrigerator and stick his body in there to let it rest, and then we can find someone that can raise him.
Right by the cook who hates you.
Oh, there's
Put
two.
it right
There's
next to his leftovers.
There's actually 2 giant freezers down in the cargo hold.
See, we'll just wrap him up and stick him in the freezer.
Every so often, you all nearly lose your footing as the ship is continuing to sway back and forth, and you can hear the pummeling sounds of the rain hitting the shutters.
Put the dead in the freezer. Wrap them in their body.
Okay.
Next stop, we'll find a healer. And
All right.
pay them coin.
I would say, for all intents and purposes, currently there are 4 dead crew. 2 of the Warforged, Deet and Varys, and Grimly, and one of your security team members, Vernon, has passed.
Well, Ender, this is a shame for your maiden voyage.
Ender, wearing the captain hat, says, "Yeah, I agree, Gunny." I'm just kidding. You mean Eli, of course.
There is
Eli,
a loud, cacophonous roar that seems to reverberate, and the walls shake within the airship. And Eli, you hear the sound of Elro coming out over the Voxcaster. Captain! There's something not right about this storm.
Yeah, what was your clue?
I'm headed up.
Okay.
I will look around and said, "Everyone can. I don't know. Find a place to stay
Poor
safely."
Eli. Poor Eli.
And
While I'm down here, on the cargo hold, do I see anything?
There's a couple bodies towards the rear of the cargo hold. You see a
I'm
small.
gonna go investigate.
As you begin walking, you nearly trip over a little figurine of a fly that you're fairly certain is Lithana's figurine of Wondrous Power.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
Anyone alive around me?
You
Anything
see,
like
you see one of the security members, a young man, looks to be in his early 30s, and you can see a Warforged, both dead. Carter rushes forth, and he just sort of skids to a halt, kneeling down over the body of Vernon.
I'm gonna pick up the Warforged if he picks up the other guy.
Yeah.
See if we can. Let's see if we can help them.
Okay.
Bring them up to bring them up to the rest of the infirmary, I guess.
Sure. That would be above you 2 levels. Leah's, which would the library / infirmary, the apothecary, if you will.
I'll follow Carter.
Okay. Carter goes upstairs. I'll go ahead and toss you up there too. There you go. And he heads into the infirmary. By this time, Leah has already made her way back down. And she looks at you both and looks towards the bodies of the fallen, and she just sort of shakes her head no. Eli, would you get to the command deck and emerge from the command deck, The ship is still continuing to list and shift. And Arrow looks and says, "We need to open the shutters to see what we're dealing with." With your permission, sir.
I'll call in to through the whole ship. Go to your rooms. Oh, don't go on open decks.
Okay.
Open the shutters.
All around the ship, the shutters begin to raise. In the lounge area, the portholes, the front of the wheelhouse. Yeah, Eli, you haven't spent money to obtain the that upgrade, sir. That's a magical spell that you would have to spend the money to obtain that upgrade. So as the Lithana, you're also on the deck with Eli?
Yes, I join him.
Okay. As you get to the deck just as the shutters are opening, it's pitch black out there. You can just see the rain is hitting the glass, the front of the ship, of the wheelhouse, and beyond in the lightning storm, you can just make out something contained within this tempest, this strange thunderstorm, which just seemed to come out of nowhere. And you can see a spiraling shape, both Eli and Lithana. You see this spiraling shape, what appears to be a gargantuan snake with wings. And you just watch as lightning comes off of its eyes, its mouth opening up and roaring, as the creature spirals off into the distance, the thunderstorm beginning to dissipate as it goes off towards the northeast, towards the Silverwood, and away from this area. The sound of the rain and the thunder now begins to dissipate. And you're not entirely certain what it was, but this is what it looked like.
Yee. Eli,
Quetzalcoatl.
I don't suppose you know what something like that is?
No, never seen anything like that.
I mean, if it's a air-based creature with the Larendars have seen something like that before?
Have I ever read anything?
Make a history check.
$29.
You have heard whispers, Eli. Rumors that in Coterminous Plains there are elder elemental creatures that sweep across that tempestuous landscape of their home plane. Many are benevolent, some possessing greater power gained by feeding on their lesser kin of that plane and adding to their own essence. And that when summoned, these type of elder elementals will manifest as these strange tempests, these storms, this apocalyptic being. It was their own very existence promising destruction. And you're also remembering about a month ago hearing the story while on the road to Trollenpart about individuals claiming that nature was out of balance, and stories of elemental creatures out of control carving paths of destruction across various parts of the world.
All I know is we're in trouble. If I think it is what I think it is.
Should we get out of the sky, or can we continue?
It's what's east. We're fine. We should be fine now. I turn my first mate. Go get that checked out. I'll take over from here.
And you each received 1,733 experience points for that encounter.
Hells yeah.
Worth it. But Lethana would walk over to Eli, and she'll kind of put a hand on his shoulder and say, I'm sorry about your ship and your people.
We'll get that taken care of. Next stop.
For what it's worth, it still feels like home. Where I'm from, there are always dead bodies around, so it doesn't bother.
Go around, cast mend on some sections of the ship that are damaged.
Sure. You find plenty of spots where these strange living spells were located, where their very presence and the damage that they wrought as they were attacking the crew and all of you. You can see burn marks, scorch marks from the living lightning creatures, and of course the big divot that Ender put into the deck on the main deck.
Let's not talk about it, though, you know? Think about, like, all the property I saved.
It's true. You did save a lot of property.
Mm-hmm. Lives, not so much, but property. I mean, there's so many doors that are still left unharmed and on the hinge.
Eli, you get a report from your crew that apparently some of the crates that were bound for Ondair were containment vessels which were breached when they unfortunately came loose and broke open. And that's how these creatures were able to wreak havoc on the ship. Apparently,
Are we carrying any more?
You're carrying a lot of crates that were bound for Ondair, specifically for the University of Wynarn.
Maybe next time I'll ask what's in the cargo.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea.
Zito is going to make his way up to the command deck.
Okay. As you arrive on the command deck, you see a worried look on Eli's face. You see Lethana just sort of casually trying to give Eli support, moral support at the very least.
What's wrong, Eli?
Nothing. Just flying my ship.
Poor Eli.
Well, that's like you choose to wear when you fly your ship. I'm just gonna look through your books for a while longer, and Zito's gonna look through Eli's books a bit longer.
Okay. While you're looking through his books, you found a botany book by a druid. Seems pretty interesting. In fact, it looks like something that Auri was interested in earlier in the evening before all this calamity happened.
Alright, and Zito's gonna take that book, and he's gonna look through the rest of them and see if there's anything else that's interesting before bringing it down to Ari.
Okay. And what would the rest of you like to do before passing time to go ahead and retire for the evening and take a long rest?
I would like to do a quick sweep of the ship to make sure everything is okay and safe.
Okay, so you're checking the ship. What about the
would
rest
like
of you?
To.
I'll
Also,
go with
I'd like
Ender.
to check cargo.
Okay,
More
Gunthroll and
friendly
Ender are checking the decks of the ship to ensure that everything is okay.
I'm
And
in the library making sure that none of the books are burned from that hand being in there.
okay. And when you get to the library, you see Leah, who's in there currently. She seems to be wrapping up the bodies that were brought to her. And she just sort of looks at you, her eyes cast down, a bit forlorn.
I'm gonna just nod at her and then tend to the books.
Okay. And what about you, Eli? What are you doing?
Just flying my ship.
Just flying your ship?
Yep. Told
No.
the first mate to go get his arm checked out.
Okay. He eventually goes down to see Leah and be tended to. And what about you, Lathana?
Well, she's not really someone who can mend things, so
You're sort of bewildered looking around the command deck. These instrument panels and things that you're not familiar with. Eli just seems to be pacing and moving about the command deck, occasionally dipping into his study, into his private chambers, and seemingly lost in thought. Occasionally returning to the ship. The ship seems to be moving, and the wheel seems to be being manipulated, but no one is manipulating it. No one is near it. Elro, he went down to the deck below.
well, she will just stay there as kind of moral support for now, but she will actually try to contact her contact from Aisha, see if she can get in touch with him.
Okay. I will whisper to you what you learn.
Okay.
So, Gunny,
Yeah, Ender.
have you noticed when you use the restrooms in the private quarters that it's got this little squirt, like this squirty thing that like squirts up at?
Yeah, I thought it was cool that, after you do your business, you can get a drink.
It's kind of like eating a mint, but for your body.
Oh, it's for your bottom. Oh,
Yeah. I just thought it was nice. I think Eli really understands luxury. I could get used to this.
clean bottom. It's good.
Derek and I are just casually dying over here.
Who's dying?
Derek and Sabrina.
Aw. Why is Derek dying?
Of laughter? Like, oh my god.
What are they called? Gun.
Yeah.
What's that thing called? It's like a little squirty squirt.
Drinking fountain.
You drink from there? Hold up, I gotta see if I believe him.
Oh, maybe.
Huh. This sucks for Ender, totally, because he's gonna try drinking from there later. It's terrific.
Or, they
It's-
have water in your quarter.
It sounds legitimate. You've never encountered them before, Ender, but it seemed pretty fancy to you. But Guthrie seems to know what he's talking about. He knows his way around airships.
He does.
You know, and later on you can like wash your hair in it too.
You're a dick.
I don't have hair, but
Out of character, you're a jerk. What are you doing to Ender right now, man? Shut your mouth.
you know, you just stick your head on a little neat little thing, you know, sprays up there and push them, and it's like, and it cleans it up.
I was using it for a restroom. I had no idea it was used for other things. I have no.
It's multi-purpose. Here, let's go try it out. I'll go help you.
So Gunthral and Ender head off to go try out the water fountain.
And Zito is gonna meet Ari in the library.
Okay. Zito, you reveal to Ari this book of botany that seems to be written by a druid whose name is Harriman Holtz.
How do you spell that?
It's HERRIMAN HOLTZ.
Okay.
Does that name sound familiar to you, Ari?
Ari, you can
No.
make a history check if you like.
I'm not very smart, so. Nope.
You've heard of druids who fairly general knowledge that druids from time to time will create tomes about nature. This one's specifically being a book of botany on the various details of various species of flowers and where they can be found in Eberron. It's a pretty thick tome. You have a feeling that if you and Zito took some time and read through it, that you might be able to discover exactly what you're looking for. Maybe. You would assume so, considering how thick this book is.
Have you leafed through it yet?
Have you? If you did leaf through it, you found technical details and drawings of various species of flowers and plants.
I haven't gotten the chance to look through it yet. I just found it in Eli's library.
Right. Well, hopefully my flower is in here. It's this one, remember?
I remember that flower. Yeah, with luck, we'll find it in this book. I mean, I'm not too sure how many other books Eli has on botany.
Yeah, and this one's already pretty thick. If they're all this thick, we may be taking forever to find it.
Maybe Lathana has some books.
She's got a joke book.
That's one book. Is it about... Does she have one about botany?
Maybe there's a joke about botany in there. I don't know how helpful that'll be, but doesn't hurt to ask.
I'll have to ask Lathana later.
So, would you all like to take your long rest for the evening?
Yes, after I help Ender wash his hair.
Okay. You two go on a lovely... do you lead him back to your chambers to show him personally?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Give him a little massage afterwards, yeah.
No massage. Off. I gotta.
Well, see, after you wash your hair, you need a nice little scalp massage, maybe a little shoulders. You know. You got some strong shoulders there.
So, right in the middle of their whatever that's going on down there, Gunny would hear a little notification on his comm saying, "Yo."
Which comm was that?
I guess. Oh wait, shit.
Does he carry a
I
ring
don't
ascending?
I don't have a ring. Shoot.
No,
you
I
don't.
threw that out a long time ago. It's
How-
somewhere out in the wilderness.
You could call out to him using the ship's communication hub there on the command deck if you prefer. You can call out to him. Everyone on the ship will hear it though. It's essentially it's like a loudspeaker that on every single deck to say, "Hey, so and so, get here, do this," that sort of thing.
I don't know. She doesn't want to embarrass him that much.
Okay.
She'll wait until another time.
Okay.
So, looks like your arms need some massaging too. You've been stressing out a little bit swinging that heavy sword around.
It's not very heavy.
Well, it looks heavy to me. Would you like me to help you with it?
No. I'm good. Thank you, though.
I hand him a beer. Here, have a mug.
There we go.
Here, let's sit back, relax a little bit. Think about what happened. Those creatures, they're pretty weird.
I'm not sure where they came from. I think they came out of cargo. I think that they had something to do with that creature that was out there.
Well, probably drink up, drink up. It's good for you.
I'm going to kick you out of my room now.
I think you're in Gunthral's room.
Yeah, you're in my room. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm out. I'm off.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's a special lock on my door. Let me open it up.
All right, well,
I'll lead him out of, I'll let him, I'll lead him.
I'm gonna
show
go ahead
him
and
next
commit
to,
Sudoku
people.
then.
That's why he wanted me to cast Arcane Lock on his door.
Well, yes, later then.
Would any of you like to do anything else?
I'm
And do Ari and I find that flower?
It depends on how long you wish to spend going through the book.
It depends. Are there pictures in the book?
There are a lot of pictures in the book, but it's also a very thick book. You have a feeling it will take you many hours to go through and find that exact one.
Well, I guess Zito's gonna get comfy.
Okay. Zito curls up with the book. How are you going to stay with him?
Yep, I'm gonna sit right behind him and kind of look in from over his shoulder.
Okay. Is everyone else continuing to go about your business on the ship?
Yeah, Gunny's gonna go mope around a little bit and then head out to the deck where Volo.
Okay. When you head back to where the deck is, Volo appears to be playing some sort of dice game with this Harlequin, this clown-like individual, who assisted you with fighting off that lightning snake.
I'll go thank him for their participation in it, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience that you may have had on it. Hey, can you explain this game to me?
And he says, of course. Have you never heard of dragon dice?
I've been a sailor for most of my life, so of course I have.
It's a game of chance, my friend. I don't play for money anymore. It's more for fun.
Well, what kind of fun?
Well, mostly I try to determine what my friend here, what they're rolling, because my friend doesn't speak. So it's a matter of, and you can watch as this person who's decked out, body completely covered, wearing those strange masks, has now one of the masks that looks kind of angry, and has their hands cupped over the table, covering up the dice and looking at Volo, and occasionally looks at underneath their hand and then back to Volo, but doesn't seem to be. Either doesn't quite understand this game, or just doesn't want to tell Volo what they rolled.
Okay. I'm just going to do light chit chat, get to know him a little bit, and hang out, entertain him for a little.
He tells you about his books. He wrote a book on monsters. He's currently writing a book on ghosts and the negative energy plane.
Oh, you got it on monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Any on like lycanthropy or anything like
that? He says that he relates to you that he knows of lycanthropy, and he spends the several minutes detailing the various types of lycanthropes that he's encountered in his time. He's encountered your standard fare of a werewolf. He's also encountered were-jackals and were-boars. Some nasty creatures. Mean-spirited, ill-tempered creatures.
Yeah. Well, I'll just do light chit-chat for the rest of the evening.
Okay. What about the rest of you all? Ender, what are you doing?
I'm ready to rest.
Okay. Lathana?
Alright, she'll march down from the captain's area, find Gunny, be like, yo, you're coming with me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought this union was going to be, dull.
And she says, follow me. And she goes towards the kitchen.
Okay. As you open the doors, you can see that Hassel is currently a lot of his utensils and pots and pans and bowls and things were knocked off from the rocking of the ship during the storm. So he's been spending many, many minutes by himself cleaning this kitchen from top to bottom and ensuring that everything is stored where it needs to be stored. And he just sort of looks at the two of you as the doors open. He's just, just sort of like a little exultation, and looks at you and then looks back to his work. And you can see he's on the floor now and he seems to be mopping up some sort of a mess.
Looks like the good part fell on the floor.
She looks at Gunny and she's like, Gunny? We never know what day would be our last, so you need to apologize to this man. He did nothing to you. Your food is amazing.
Thank you.
She looks at Gunny.
He's got his little gnome butt is up in the air, and his apron is dragging on the floor as he scoots along, cleaning the floor as vigorously as he possibly can. The entire kitchen smells of some sort of a cleaning solution.
What was that, Lathana? What you looking at me strange for?
You need to apologize to him.
You wanted my opinion. I gave you one. Hey, do you need me to apologize?
He just sort of looks to you, and a bit of his hair, his pink hair, comes out from underneath his hat, and he blows up. A little bit of tuft sort of lifts up a little bit, and then back down into his sweaty face. And he says...
See, he doesn't care.
And he says, would it matter to someone like you? A brute?
Well, not a brute. I'm not a brute. I'm a man of the cloth here, I'm a snake god worshipper, If you get injured, you get sick, you're gonna come to me, and I'm gonna, but you know what? Been thinking about it, and so Lathana doesn't kick my butt later. Would you accept my apologies for the food earlier? It was okay. I look at Lathana. It's like, no.
She kind of raises an eyebrow and just waits for the cook's response.
And he looks to you, Lathana, just sort of sighs, stands up, reaches his hands behind him and stretches his back. Fine. It's okay. Whatever. I appreciate your efforts, miss.
Oh, and if you get a sore back, come on by. I know a good massage technique to get those kinks out.
I promise to take the poison out of your porridge for tomorrow morning. And he just sort of looks at
Don't
you
use
and grins a little bit.
No need for anything special for me, just normal.
And he begins writing something down on a pad and looking at you, and then puts the pad into one of the pockets in his apron.
See, Gunny, I just stopped another death on the ship. You should thank me. But thank you, sir. We look forward to breakfast in the morning. Thank you for what you do. Have a good night. And she walks.
And to death, it'd have to be one of us because there's no crew members left.
And he just sort of waves you both off. Good night!
Well, good night, little man.
Okay. So the two of you are retiring for the evening?
Yeah, she'll just say at the end, look, I may be an assassin, but here's what I know. You'd never know if you'll wake up the next day. So 2 things I keep to. 1, never keep someone holding a grudge against you if you cared about them. If you don't care about them, it's fine. And also, never leave a debt unpaid. Alright, good night. And she leaves.
Okay.
What? Oh, gee. I'll go to bed.
Alright. And what about you, Eli? What are you doing?
I'll fly the ship until the first mate gets back.
He comes up
Resting.
he comes up after about a half an hour. He sort of flexes his wrist a bit, and he walks up to you and he claps his hand on your shoulder and he says, grimly, I'm sorry.
Yes, a lot of responsibility being a captain.
We'll have to reach out to his family, no doubt.
I don't think that is necessary quite yet. We'll see what they say in the next city.
Very well. Do you want me to take over and let you go on to take your rest, sir?
You get some rest. I have a lot to think about.
Very well. And he gives you a nod. Continue to hold on to your shoulder with one of his hands, and then his hand slides off your shoulder as he walks away and disappears into one of the chambers. And you're left to your own devices on the command ship now, looking out on the horizon, pitch black, but there is a bit of an overlay that is a bit like dark vision, where you can see the horizon beyond. You can see the landscape. And your 2 crew members, the Warforged crew members, Dex and Bink, are currently going about their tasks, checking out various readouts. And occasionally they check in with you, but for the most part they don't give you any information that you wouldn't already know from what you can see on the command ship near the ship's wheel itself. And it's pretty uneventful. Nothing else happens while you're on your watch in the command deck. Down in the library, the book club, consisting of Auri and Zito, you finally come across a section of the book written by Harriman that details this flower. The flower in question is called Trientalis borealis, or the starflower. They're also referred to as Irian's light by the Eberron. Auri, you recognize the name from one of the herbs that grew around Vivian's home, and that Vivian grew it, but it's not native to Corvair. It was brought over from Arenal by the Eberron, and it's typically used for medicinal purposes, but it's also been used during Irian rituals.
This is it. I knew I'd seen it before, and the smell, it was so familiar.
But where did it come from?
I don't know. I just found it. Like I told you. It had to have been someone on the ship. It had definitely been left for me, though.
Are you sure it was that's for you? It wasn't one of those couples that we met earlier on the ship? You remember who were the... Oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Ari?
I guess it's possible, but it was left on my pillow in my room.
Maybe we'll have to ask around tomorrow morning.
I agree. We should probably get some rest. Thank you so much for helping me.
What are friends for, Ari? And Zito's gonna get up and go down to his workshop real quick.
Okay. What do you do in your workshop while you're there?
Zito is gonna empty all of the pounds of scrap into those crates.
Okay.
And he's gonna go back into his room.
All right, very well. With that, we will go ahead and progress you guys forward in time, taking your long rest. Each of you regaining your spell slots, regaining your hit points, and you begin the next day refreshed. And it's a fairly uneventful morning, after which the New Horizon is able to ferry itself the outskirts of Fairhaven, the capital of Ondare, and the ship docks at the Lorandar docking tower, which is this spike that raises up over the city and radiates out these various docks at different heights on the docking tower. And do you all stay on the ship and allow for the crew to unload, or do any of you disembark?
Eli will disembark.
Okay. Eli
stay
isn't
close.
disembarking. Ender, you're coming off the ship?
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, you need a bodyguard. Eli can't protect himself.
Okay. And of course, Eli, you would know that this particular docking tower is called the Chalice Center. And as you step on the large bay doors open up from the bottom level of the New Horizon, your crew immediately begins setting forth to unloading the crates that are bound for Ondare, for the University of Wynarn. And it's just Eli and Ender, correct?
I guess unless anyone else follows, but I'm going straight to the university.
Okay, it's actually not necessary. As you
Oh, it is necessary.
As you step off of the ship, you are greeted by an old acquaintance. And Koratari, if you're still awake, would you like to describe yourself?
Hello. Koratari looks pretty much the same. Her hair is down, however, flowing long silvery locks. And she's wearing very similar to what she had, except it looks more like a dress with very pristine, like a beautiful inlay down the front. She looks very regal.
Oh, hello, Koratari.
Well, hello, my friend.
What's you doing here?
Well, she kind of blushes a little bit. When I returned back to my mistress, Nay or Krell, you may remember, when I told her about our exploits and our adventure, if you will, she was so impressed that she sent me here to, become part of the Queen's Guard. To run the Queen's Guard, actually.
Yay!
Oh. You mean you're running the Queen's Guard here?
Yes, I am, in fact.
Oh. Wow. Well, congratulations. That's a huge honor.
Thank you, thank you. And the Queen did hear, of course, I told her about all the help that you all gave me. And she was very impressed. So, should you have time after this delivery, if you'd like to join the Queen for dinner, I'm sure she'd be very honored.
Yeah, it'd be an honor. I mean, if you want to go see the rest of them, they're on board our ship.
Everyone's here?
Yeah, everyone's aboard.
Wait, your ship? Our ship?
Yeah,
You own that ship?
yes I do. I'm the captain, Captain Eli, Stormbringer. At your service.
That's not true. I'd love to see the rest of the group, of course.
Yes, I have important business. Do you know what time the Queen would like to meet with us?
DM, would I know what time the Queen would like to meet?
To the best of your knowledge, Kortari, Queen Arala left the invitation open so that if your friends were too busy to stay, they could return at some other time. However, there is a pressing matter, Kortari, which of course you actually have business with this airship called the New Horizon. You are actually here to receive cargo from Eli Stormbringer and his crew.
Yes, of course. Well, the invitation is open should you not have time. However, there is the pressing matter of your delivery.
Oh, the delivery's going to you.
Yes, of course it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well
and
then.
And as you've been talking, the crew have been unloading the crates and bringing them and offloading them onto this docking platform.
Then I have urgent business with you.
Yes.
So I accept it. Well, my quartermaster accepted this job. Not with the full information of what's in those crates.
Yes.
And during voyage, we ran into a storm, and a few things broke, and the dangers killed some of my crew.
Including the quartermaster.
Yes.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about your crew. It's awful.
It is awful. That is why I seek, if the Queen would be so kind to offer clerical assistance to raise my 4 crew members from the dead.
Well, I of course cannot make any promises on behalf of the Queen in that matter. However, I'm happy to bring you to her to work out a deal. I'm sure you would love to speak with her as she would with you. Now, tell me, what happened to the cargo?
It cracked open and out came elemental fiends of some kind.
Elemental fiend. Well, DM, would I have known everything that was in these crates?
Oh yes, you had a detailed manifest. Many of them were artifacts bound for the University of Wynarn for the private collection of the royal family of Ondare. They were essentially items that were found during an archaeological dig. Many of which were actually containment units of an arcane nature that also contain these living spells. Things that were extracted from the Mournland. These living spells that were extracted great cost to the Queen, actually. They were to be put into her private collection.
Well, I'm very concerned about which boxes were damaged. Can you please show me?
Yes. Follow me.
In the meantime, I would like to transition for a moment to a member of the group. If you would all indulge. Lithana. Sabrina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was waiting for you to say something.
Ah, yes, I had many things to say, actually. You had a nightmare last night. Last night, when you went to bed, you dreamt that you were back at the Aisha estate, assembled in a line with several women armed with bows. One by one, the women drew and fired their bows, hitting various targets set up on the other end of the courtyard. And you could hear the sounds of their cheers and laughter as the archers of the Arcus Sisterhood continued their training. Your old companion Esmer stands to your right. She draws back her bowstring and she says, "Do you know anything about this mission that we're being sent on? Some sort of backwater town in the Eldian Reaches." Esmer now is sort of staring downfield towards the target now. She's occasionally pulling the bowstring taut and then relaxing it, looking at you, as if waiting for you to answer her.
Well, it sounds like a new opportunity. I love to travel, quite honestly.
And she looks at you and she says, "Have you seen our new uniforms yet?"
No, I don't think I have. I've heard of them, though.
I don't know about you, but I can't see a thing in those new head coverings that Lord Castellanter gifted the Sisterhood. They're ghastly! And the veils, they smell like horse excrement. And she looks at you and she takes her shot. And the arrow thunks downfield into the target, not quite center in the middle. Blast! And she looks to you and says, "It's your turn." And she steps out of the way, allowing you to step forward and draw your bow.
I draw and shoot and focus as much as I can, I guess.
And Lithana, she encourages you, and Esmer continuing to whisper words of encouragement. "Fighter, do it. Let go. Do it. You can't beat me. You know you can't." And as you look past her and look around, you see the other archers. And at the end of the courtyard, you see the familiar sight of Tamir, perched on top of the low stone fence that wraps around the yard. And the young man waves to you and smiles. And Esmer continues to goad you on. She says, "It's your turn. Come on now."
I let loose the arrow.
Okay. The moment that you pull your bowstring taut, as you're looking at Tamir, suddenly he seems to evaporate. As you let loose your arrow, you, instead of hearing the familiar sound of the target being impacted by the arrow, you hear the sound of the arrow impacting something soft. A very familiar sound. The sound of a body being impacted. And the archers as you glance around, it's turning from daytime to night. And the archers around you are no longer wearing their simple outfits. They're wearing black leather armor, cloaks with hoods up over their heads, and black veils cover their faces. And as you look and see, looking at your sisters, they seem to have semi-transparent ribbons attached to their wrists and ankles, stretching up into the cloudy sky, almost like marionette strings. And they have stilted movements as they move about, almost as if they're being controlled by these ribbons. And you can see that a few of the women, when they pull the veils from their heads, the ribbons seem to disappear from their appendages. You then become aware, Lithana, that you are wearing black leather armor, and the hooded cloak. The sky is now completely dark, and you are suddenly alone in a forest, running towards the fiery glow in the distance. Your lungs burn as you emerge from the forest into the city outskirts. The embers from the burning buildings swirl up into the night sky, and you see a gathering of lithe individuals in dark leather armor wearing cloaks with hoods. An armored warrior is pacing slowly in front of them, admonishing them harshly. The warrior gazes past the lineup, suddenly aware of your presence. The hunter returns empty-handed, and without a head cover. Explain. You are instantly aware that you are no longer wearing the veil that was covering your face under your hood before. And as you look around, you see the aftermath of a massacre. You see bodies on the ground piled in the distance, many arrows in their bodies. You can see the lithe individuals, a few of them scattered, collecting arrows, pulling them out of the bodies. You see an elven man on his knees near the body of a woman wearing a white flowered dress, who is currently affixed to a post. This dress is stained with blood. And before you can answer the man, the armored warrior, the elven man catches your focus, looks in your eyes, and he begins to mouth the words, "Wake up." And you start awake in your bed. And as you sit upright, the back of your head feels as if you've been sleeping on something really hard. And as you look back towards your pillow, you notice that it seems a bit misshapen. What would you like to do?
I guess I will grab at my pillow.
Okay. As you feel inside of your pillow, you notice that there's something inside of it. Hard, flat objects. And as you dump out the contents of your pillow, a cascade of arrowheads begin falling out of your pillowcase into your hands. Most of them seem to be stained with dried blood. And you begin to realize that these are, in fact, Aisha arrowheads. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
What?
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh.
Interesting.
Lots of transition.
Right?
But on the positive side, we're all here. We're all hanging out, doing our bi-weekly hangout. And now Ender gets to fight a fart cloud.
Sabrina's mic sounds clearer than it ever has.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
Well, guys, this is why my closest friends are online, because, you know, when you hang out with them, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're studying abroad in China or quarantined because of a...
Yeah.
At least we can get each other.
Yeah, this is a nice thing. I'm glad that we still have this. I know next week for our weekly D&D game, we can't have it at Dark Side, so we're just gonna have it at our place. Shasta, Stefan, us two, and Paul, and Andy probably. If it all just depends. It depends if people are feeling okay, and there's all that, those things to consider. Here, though, we're not. You guys aren't endangering me at all, so thank you.
Right,
We
you
were
guys.
trying to be thoughtful.
Guys got to get on that fantasy grounds. Your DM needs to step up his game.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think Roll20 ruined it for him.